welcome to another Spend Less Craft More video. I'm Julie, and today what I will be doing is making a kit. It's what I call an expand a collection kit, and what I mean by that is that I take some of a new or newish collection and expand it out with other products. The reason I like to do this, there's a couple of reasons. I like to be able to play with something new, a new collection, without necessarily having to buy it all, but I can still get the feel of the whole collection and not feel like I'm missing out, and that certainly is a money-saving strategy. I personally don't often like layouts that are literally the same collection, same collection, same collection. I do like to mix things up a bit. It gets a bit matchy-matchy for me if I only make a page from the one collection. And I guess my third reason is I get to mix up my older and newer supplies but still feel like I'm using something that's new and fresh because I'm basing it around a new collection. So without further ado, let's go. So the collection that I chose is Wild at Heart by Coco Vanilla. It's probably not as new as I thought it was when I first chose this to buy. I think it maybe came out in February with this year, which I realise isn't new to everybody. It's certainly new to me. If you don't know already, I've just been on a 100-page spending freeze, which took me 7 months. So this has certainly come out since I really was looking at anything to buy, and I love it. It doesn't actually bother me that it's not, out last week, but I'm just pointing that out in case this is something that you would like to copy. I was able to find what I wanted. Not everything was in stock, certainly in every store. So that's something to keep in mind. But my goal here isn't for you to go out and grab Coco Vanilla Wild at Heart necessarily and do the same thing, but just to look at what you've got in your own stash and think, how can I apply this to the products that I own? So what did I buy? I couldn't get my hands on the collection kit, but that's fine. So instead, in the collection kit, I would have got 2 of each paper. I chose to buy 2 of 3 papers, so 1, 2 and 3, and I'm sure you can see already why I think it's such a beautiful collection. We've got butterflies, we've got beautiful florals, we've got scripty words, we've got watercolour. This butterfly page, I can't really see myself using that as one whole sheet, but I can certainly see myself getting a lot of use cutting out lots and lots of those beautiful butterflies. The rest of the papers, I bought 1 of each, so here's 1 with the beautiful dots on the back. 2 is the grey wood grain with another watercolour look on the back. 3 double dots, so 2 different dotty options, pink, and that's got like a patchwork of various different pattern papers on the back. The peachy kind of stripe with the cut aparts, and this floral I don't love as much, but it's got this lovely marble paper on the back. Now if I was really strapped for cash but still wanted to get the feel of this collection, probably the ones I would leave out is perhaps that one, probably that one, simply because I own so much pink, and probably I would keep the rest, although perhaps not buy 2 of, say, those florals, something like that. I'd at least get rid of one of those, and that would be another way that I could have reduced the amount I spent again. Now what else is in the collection and what did I buy? So had I bought the collection kit, I would have got the sticker sheet as part of that, and I did actually buy the sticker sheet. So that's what it's got on it. Mostly it's words and a few little bits and pieces. Then other thing they have is an ephemera pack, and I also did buy that, and that's lovely. It's got your little frames, quite a few floral butterflies, arrows, this nice doily tag, so that's really lovely. After that, the next thing that they had was gorgeous sparkly enamel dots. Now if you know me, I don't buy enamel dots, I make my own fake ones. I have got a video of how I do that if you want to have a look and see how I do that. But what I did make my own. I picked colours obviously that match the collection, and I added Kindy Glitz, not to all of them, here's some that I've added it to, but to probably about half. I figured I can always add Kindy Glitz later, but if I want to do a page, say, about my boys, I don't necessarily want sparkly dots, I might just want plain ones. So that's what I've done there. So basically I did the pink, the peach, the dark blue, the lighter blue, and this kind of teal colour. So I've got dots, I've got hearts, and dots in 3 sizes, hearts and stars, which are my standard little fake enamel shapes at the minute. The other thing that I've got a video on that I would never buy is Flair. They did have some very cute Flair, so I thought I would have a bit of a go at making my own as well. What I've done is I've just cut out a bunch of 1-inch circles in watercolour paper, and I've had a little bit of a play. Obviously I don't really like to make a whole lot at the beginning because I don't know what I'm going to use, but I have a bit of a play to get myself inspired, and then I can go back and do it as I'm going along. So these ones, this is, I wonder if I can bring it up to you, I don't know if that's any better. So that's just a stamp that's actually designed as Flair, which I've then sort of watercoloured over. This one's a butterfly, which I actually coloured in with Marvy markers. Then I stamped over that with clear embossing powder and glitter, actually, embossing powder, and then watercoloured over that. So I just add my little 1-inch circles over the top of those to make my Flair. The other thing that I was tempted to buy, they've got some lovely chipboard frames. My problem with that is often I find, I've already got a few frames in here, and often I find the smaller ones hard to use. So that was a little bit of a stretch for me. So what I've done on my silhouette is I've cut 3, that's actually not the third size, is it? But 3 different sizes of plain square frames. Oh, here we go. So that is 3 sizes, and I've had a little bit again of a play with some watercolour just to get the feel of how they might look. With these ones I stamped first and it white embossed. I've done a row of hearts there and the word happy. They didn't turn out as well as I was hoping, but I figure I can actually do that afterwards. There's no real need to do it first, and that will make it clearer. So I may use these, I may flip them over and use the back. Yeah, we'll see how I go with that, but it's certainly given me something to think about and something to play with. I could use them and, yeah, stick something over the top of them, I guess. And I know that I can make more, so I've saved. The other thing I could do is I might use some of the pattern paper, which would make it a little bit more like their frames if I cut the same size shape with pattern paper and stuck that over the top. And I could even use some silhouette chipboard for a little bit more dimension again to really make them look like chipboard frames. I did also cut a couple of these gorgeous fancy ones. What am I going to do? I'm going to put that one onto me so you can see it better. Yeah, these lovely fancy frames which come from Vilna's blog, I Heart Studio. So that's where those cut files came from. So that's the frames. What else have we got? So they also had wood veneer words. They are just in the too expensive basket as far as I'm concerned. I do love wood veneer shapes, but they were quite large words for, yeah, and not that many for the price. I do have some smaller wood veneer words which I may use, remember, that sort of thing. And I certainly will be thinking about, you know, I've got butterflies here as well, people, stars, hearts, birds, so I may well go through and get some wood veneers out to go in this kit as well. I was tempted again to get the flowers, but they were actually out of stock at the store I ended up choosing. I've realised lately that I do still like using paper flowers. It's more, a lot of the flowers that I've got are these kind of older style, I think they're Kaisercraft ones, but I do have a few other bits and pieces. So, see, for example, that is a great colour match, so I could certainly use some of those. See, that maybe I wouldn't use with some of the darker floral papers, but it could look really nice with some of the other papers. And I do have some white ones down the bottom there as well. And that's probably a similar size to the Cocoa Vanilla flowers at any rate. So I can certainly use those flowers that I've already owned and had in my stash for a while. So that's great. And the other things that were in the collection I wasn't interested in buying was there was some chipboard stickers and rubber stickers, I think they're called rubber charms, which was really more of the sort of the words and things that you get on these, which I don't tend to use that quickly, so I was quite happy not to buy those. So that's Oh, and I did also, just while I was cutting those other bits and pieces, I love butterflies, so I've cut myself some watercolour butterflies in 2 different shapes, and these ones when I cut out the enamel dot shapes. So lots and lots of butterflies for me to play with. Now that's the embellishments that either came from the kit or I've DIY'd. The next thing I think we'll do is we'll look at what other papers I'm going to add. So let's get all this out of the road. So the last time I did an expanded collection kit was also with Cocoa Vanilla. It was with this other collection, Free Spirit. And last time I had the whole collection kit of papers, and I used 1 of each paper in that kit. So basically I actually still have 6 papers of that left. And the colours are a reasonable match to this collection. But I don't really want to just shovel this in with that, because I think it's just going to get, again, it's just going to feel too much Cocoa Vanilla to me. But I just sort of have a quick look first of all and decide if I wanted to add any of these ones in. And I think that's just not quite right. It's not quite close enough. I think I might add that one, and I might add those 2. I might add that one as well. Okay, I'm going to add those 3 and leave those other 3 aside for later. So let's put those ones in. Okay, so then I pulled out some papers the other night. So let's see what I think about them and how many of them are going to make it. I would have liked to have had a nice dark blue solid cardstock, but that's one thing I have run out of since my spending freeze and not replaced, is some of the colours of solid cardstock. So I thought it's a watercolour, kind of a themed package collection, so maybe I could have a go at making my own watercolour. My first attempt is this, and I should have known, obviously watercolour probably wasn't dark enough to begin with, but it did get lighter as it dried. So it's a nice match to that blue, but it's certainly not that really dark navy, so I am going to include it. Again, I've done this now, it's in my head that it's possible. I may, if I decide I want some, have another go at doing a darker navy. I may buy some. I may just not need it. We'll see how we go. And then because of this colour here, I've chosen a few kind of neutrally papers. Let's see. I might just use those 2. I don't think that red matches at all. I don't mind that cardstock. So we might whack those ones in. And now we come into the darker blue. I think I quite like that one. I think that one's going to go in. And we've got this more kind of, I never quite know whether it's teal or what colour to say. Which one do we like best? See, this is maybe just too much spots if I add that one. And this one again, that's a lot of spots, and it's a different style of spots. I think you're going. Again, I don't think you're quite the right colour. I wonder if that's too many if I add all 3 of those. See, then again, we've got the butterflies in the dark blue, so I think that's enough reason to choose that one. That was 2015. I think that's probably a little bit too dark, and although that one is dots again, I'm kind of inclined to include that one actually. Right, pink. These 2 are both from the same Fancy Pants collection. I don't even know why I chose that, to be honest. It didn't really go that nicely. So there, going. This one might be a Chamel, do you think, guys? It's actually got very similar colours to that there, doesn't it? So I might actually include that one. And same with that one. That one's too red, so it's going. And it's a very different sort of floral as well, isn't it? So let's put that one in there. And then I've got some sort of more reddy maroons. I might just include those Swiss dot ones. Okay, so this is what I'm up to so far that you've already seen me pull out. Now, if you might have noticed that there were no alphabets in this collection. I don't always use the alphabets that I pull out because I tend to cut things on my silhouette, but I do often get them out anyway. I've chosen a few different sort of more neutral, this sort of more neutral colour, because Cocoa Vanilla do seem to have that sort of colour when they do have this one. Here's from another Cocoa Vanilla, Hello Lovely, and I think I'm just going to include that one and that one. I've got a leftover of a dark navy and a new smaller very dark navy tile. Probably wouldn't put those two together, but they could still work separately. This pinky colour I think is going to work, and this, now I'm pulling that one out, I'm not loving it as much, but I think we'll leave that one in, we'll see how we go. I think that's the other part of that same Cocoa Vanilla, which I put somewhere, that one. I think that's part of the Hello Lovely. Alrighty, now, as I said, the Free Spirit was my last expander collection. I didn't kill that kit, so I thought because the colours match, I'll quickly go through what's in there to fill out my embellishments, and then we will call this kit done. This was all kind of the trims and things. I think pretty much, not that pink perhaps, but they will go. Where's my peach? No. No, in fact maybe just that one. Maybe leave those. I will certainly leave the photo corners. I'll certainly leave the gold butterflies, the doilies, and these are mistable, but I'm going butterfly crazy, but that's okay. I had also got a few buttons and things out just as a sort of reminder that that's some things I've got in my stash, and I think they can all pretty happily just stay in there for now. And then over here, this looks like I've got a lot of ephemera left, but it's actually, it's what's left of the ephemera kit, the sticker sheet that would have been that size, ephemera sheet, sticker sheet, and probably 2 cut apart sheets. So while there's a lot there, that's why I have actually used quite a bit. I'm not going to go through that now and bore you, but maybe, I don't know, half a third of that I might keep and the rest will go away. These vellum circles I like to use will certainly stay, and so will these gold hearts and stars, and probably down the bottom there's some little dots as well for some more glittery enamel dots, this time gold ones, and that'll be awesome. These flowers are ones that I made with actually it's right here, the Altenew stamp set, which is one of these layered stamp sets, and I probably will have a go at that as well, because I did find I used those quite a bit, and just again I'll have to experiment for colours that match this kit. So that, guys, is I think it's going to do, that is my Cocoa Vanilla Wild at Heart Expander Kit collection. With the first one, I was only pretty new on YouTube, so I don't think I had any process videos, but hopefully there will be a few from this collection, and you'll see how I pull bits and pieces. Some will probably be very strongly Cocoa Vanilla Wild at Heart looking, others maybe not so much, so I hope you'll join me in this journey, and I hope I've inspired you to have a go at finding something new in your kit that you love and pulling out some other supplies that match. Okay, see you later.